Hello everyone in the EDTP 580 Digital Citizenship class. This is the first of a few Friday videos. During the year, I have a habit of sending out a video every Friday to review what we have done the week and then prepare you for the week ahead. I wanted to make sure that you have an understanding of what our next module is about without going too far into it, because we will do a lot of that next week. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at the beginnings of these digital citizenship 9 elements. As I promised everyone in the class on Wednesday, this will be the one and only PowerPoint that I will run by you. One of the things that I need you to realize is the way that we're going to deconstruct the 9 elements of digital citizenship is we're going to use something called a VoiceThread. Now, a lot of you have used VoiceThread in other classes, but what I want to show you here in just a second is that VoiceThread is now a part of Blackboard. You no longer have to use a VoiceThread on your own. It is now inside of Blackboard, and it allows you to do everything that you've ever wanted to do but couldn't because you didn't have a full account. After tomorrow, the expectation will be that you will have gone into this Doodle poll. I don't know why it's called Doodle, but it is. And in here, you will see a place for you to decide what you want to focus on, that you are going to help the rest of us as we sort out what the 9 elements of digital citizenship are about. We're essentially going to jigsaw the book. And as you can see, we already have 2 people who have popped in here and said this is what they want to focus on. I have said in the directions up here that you're to choose one element, and a group can have as many as 4 participants in it. So those of you who live in the great beyond may have to do a little communicating with your friends to see who wants to work with you in developing your VoiceThread. And as I said, we will visit that next week. And we will go over how VoiceThread inside of Blackboard works. And as you can see, this is the way it looks now. It is inside of Blackboard, and it becomes just as simple as clicking on this link, signing in with your Ulink username and password, and then you can create your own VoiceThread. The way we can do the group work inside of VoiceThread is you can go into VoiceThread and you can find people and you can add them to your VoiceThread, and then as a group you can develop the VoiceThread. Now I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I just wanted you to see where this was, and if you've never done VoiceThread, here is everything you need to know about it right here. As you probably have already seen, I do things in both visual as well as in print, for those of us who like to see and hear explanations, and those of us who like to have something in our hands that we can read. Let's talk about this week. This week we did Module 1, creating our DC presence, and I hope that you have completed this. We did have some questions from folks. They were wondering the whole thing about, in several paragraphs, please share your views and experiences. Well, several paragraphs really just means 3. You don't have to go crazy. Basically, what I wanted you to do was just talk about where you come from with technology. We did change the amount of TED Talks. We only need 2 now, not 3. And every time we do something like this with Sir Ken up here and the TED Talks here, we're only asking you to do a coherent paragraph of 3 to 5 well-written sentences. Again, you don't have to go crazy. Also note that in every module now there is a link that will take you to the assignment in LiveText if you want to go ahead and put those in. We've had a lot of questions. People have been very concerned about, do we have to have everything done by the end of each module or the end of each class meeting? No. If you want to wait and do it all as toward the end, that'll be fine. I actually will give you time to work on it to get everything finished. So that's pretty. Oh, we had another question about where the recordings are, and they're right over here where it says EDTP 580 recordings. And here's our first recording. I always name it based upon what we're doing with a time stamp, a date stamp as well. And then if something goes wrong, I always make a note of it in the description, like the Collaborate client crashed at the 15-minute mark and we had to restart it, but it stayed connected for the rest of the class, all 3 hours worth. I tell people, I counsel people to sort of start it, kind of hear what Steve is talking about at first, and then just let it be sitting there running while you do other things. And then when you hear where Steve is talking about, well, this is how you set up a wiki, or this is how you do a Voki, then you can come back over and pay more attention to it. It's a long video. It's a long class, 3 hours. And one of the things that I also tell people is to make sure that you run the scrub through it as you're running the video. And there's a little line down here, and you can click through it. I was going to show it to you. And let's see. Let's try that again, because I do want you to see how to do that for those of you who are watching from the great beyond. So we go to here. This pops up. Well, it's basically saying that it can't find the Colab file, and I have to go find the Colab file, and I'm not going to sit here and hunt for it. There it is. I did find it. So what'll happen is it will come up full screen, and it'll start playing, and it will just be class. I always send my desktop, so there's a lot of things that are going on, but I primarily like to keep it focused on whatever I'm seeing, you're seeing. And let's see, have we got it started yet? And it quit unexpectedly on me. Well, that's probably because I'm sitting here running the screencasting, and Collaborate doesn't really like to play nice with other media things when you're working with it. So it's, that's just life with Collaborate. And fortunately, I've used Collaborate enough to know when it's going to screw up. And when it does screw up, I don't panic. I just go back and fix it, and we get going. Okay, I'm rambling. This is your Friday report for the first week of our class, where we built our wiki space of Voki. We learned the highly technical skill that you need for this class called copy-paste. We also learned what an embed code means and what we can do with it. When we get together this Friday, we'll start talking about what digital citizenship really means. And then next week, we'll be working on our digital citizenship presentations of the 9 elements of digital citizenship. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.